Hello. In this dot loop minute segment, we're going to show you some tips and tricks, maybe some best practices for working with your professional services disclosure and election form. As we know, the PSD is a form that we'd like to treat as kind of a living, breathing form throughout the contract. So when we first go under contract, for example, we may not know all of the services to be used if we're going to use a service or not. So we may be only to fill in some of it at this point, and then later in the contract process, we should be able to update it as these services have been determined. So what we're going to do in this video is just offer you some tips and tricks about things to maybe help make this a little bit easier. The way dot loop is set up, once something has been signed, once a document has been signed or initialed, if anything is changed, then they're going to wipe out those signatures and initials, which makes sense because it's only fair that we let the signer know that there has been a change. So it'll wipe out those signatures and initials, in which case we would have to get all those initial boxes filled in again. It's a lot of work for you. It's a lot of work for your buyer or seller. So let's offer a suggestion and see what we can do to maybe make that a little bit easier. So you can see I'm in my loop now. I'm in a seller loop. And I understand we probably use the PSD more for buyers, but we do use it for sellers as well. And you can see I have my professional services disclosure. And when we click on that, I've been through this already once with my seller. So Sarah Seller has come through and waived various service. We know the seller at least needs an attorney. But at this point, in this case, I'm just now listing the property or shortly after. So we may not, obviously don't know yet who that attorney is going to be. And then, for the sellers, you may have some other services, but for the most part, we have them coming through and initialing waived under most of the boxes. So we have the first initial piece filled out. So as mentioned, if I were to, let's pretend now that we have our attorney, we know who we're going to use. And if I were to, like, for example, try to add a strike through, let's see. Yeah, add a strike through. Well, you know what? It's not going to let me do it probably because it's already been signed. So let's try this. Let's say, okay, there we go. So are you sure you want to edit this form? Making changes to this form will clear all signatures. So I'm going to say I don't want to make changes. And that's what we were saying when we first started this video. Because I've already had my seller sign everything, if I were to do anything else different at this point, then it's going to wipe out all these initial boxes and she'd have to come back through and fill that out again. And that's just not convenient. So instead of that, let's try something else. I already have the initial form where we started. And what I want to do now, my 3 action dots to the right here, what I want to do now is download it. It's telling me that it's generating a PDF. I know it's going to save to the download folder on my device. So now that I've downloaded it, now I'm going to add a document. I'm going to browse, and then I'm going to upload it. So that's the document that we just downloaded. And now you can see I have what looks like 2 PSDs, but they're getting ready to be different. So this is the one that we just looked at. This is the one that we just downloaded and brought back into dot loop. And if you can see now what we've done, we have a flat PDF. So we have the signatures, the initials and the signatures kind of all set in stone here. So now we're at a different place in our contract where we know who the attorney is going to be. So my commands at the top here, I can click on add a strike through, which is what I was trying to do earlier, but it wouldn't let me with that interactive. But now it will on a flat PDF. And I'm going to add a strike through box. And this is just me trying to get it, just right. There it is. So I have crossed out that TBD. And then I'm going to add a text box. So now that we know who the attorney is, let's say the buyer or seller have chosen to use the attorney, I'm just making names up here, closings are us is our attorney. So we've named the service provider. I'm going to save the document. And because I changed something that was already signed, we're going to add a new set of initial boxes, assign that to our seller, save, and then I can share and have the seller sign, indicating or recognizing this change. And by doing it this way, again, we're showing that this is a living, breathing form that does get updated, is often updated throughout the transaction. If once we have our seller sign this, if we, let's say, for example, she changes her mind and she wants to offer a home warranty, or she wants what else would the seller want? I don't know. She wants to talk to an accountant, then we can always do the same thing we did. Share it. Just download it. And add a document. Browse. Again, from my device. Upload it. So now I have the current or the revised. Obviously, they would have her initials there because I had her send that. But yeah, now that she's decided that they want to have an accountant or have a suggestion of account, then we would just strike through, make that fit. That's just me. And then I can add initial boxes under now they've selected, assign that to my seller, and then add the text for who's going to order it and who that service provider is, and on it goes. So when we say living, breathing form, that's what we're saying, and that just shows the steps, the in motion of these conversations with our clients about the different services. That is that .loop minute. As always, let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.